Hey guys, how's it going on? So today we'll be looking into SQL concepts. So we're starting with first is database and then with table and also with the CRUD operations that's been performed on the table. So with regards to database, we'll be looking into how to create a database, how to delete a database, how to select, how to show, how to view the databases. So we'll be looking all of them today. And also on the table, we'll be looking into how to create a table and how to insert the elements into table and what are the different operations that could be performed on the table. So the operations that could be performed at the table is known as your CRUD operations. So C stands for creating a record. C doesn't stand for creating a table, it stands for creating a record. All these operations we do it on the table. So R is for reading the contents in the table, U for updating the elements in the table, D for deleting the contents in the table. So we'll look into detail. So I'm gonna work through command window. So before that we have to connect. We have to start our server. So I'm gonna start my SQL server here. Yeah, the port is connected, and I'm trying to connect my SQL server. Yeah, the server is connected. So you guys could see there's a word called none here. That indicates like we have not connected to any database within our server. So the first thing is we have to create a database. For that, the command is create a database followed by a database name. Now that we have created the database, we have to use that particular database. For that, type it as use the database name. So before that, if you guys wanted to know what all the database that exist within our server, just type it as show databases in the plural form. So here we'll get to know what all the database that exist within our server. So I have created this particular database right now. I'm gonna use that particular database. So for that, you have to type it as use database. Oh, it's just use database name. Yeah. So now we are connected to our database. Now the first thing would be there's a few other commands in regards to database. If you wanted to drop this database, you have to click it. You have to type it as drop database. This would drop that particular database. So you could see from JV Academy it changed to none. So this indicates that this particular database is dropped. You guys could also check it by viewing it. You guys could see that particular database has been dropped. Now let's create it again. In few servers or in few MySQL servers, you guys couldn't see what database you guys are connected to. In that case, if you guys wanted to know what database you guys are working on, there's one particular command, select database. This is the command to know what database you're connected to. So this will show you like what is the database that you are connected to. So I'm connected to the database called JV Academy. Now these are the operations that could be done on database. First thing is to create a database and use that particular database, and you guys can drop that database, and also you guys can view the database. To view it, it is like show database. Yeah, and also to know which database you're working on, it is like select database. So that's all about database. Now we'll be looking into table. So let's see how to create a table. So table, whenever I tell table is like to store the data in the form of rows and columns. Why rows and columns? It's because we are connected to a MySQL server. MySQL is a relational database. Again, relational database is something that stores the data in the form of rows and columns. So let's start creating a table. Create a table. it's in the similar fashion as database. Just create database. Here it is create table, and you guys have to give a name of the table. I'm going to give it as student. And now you guys have to mention what columns you require within your table. So column indicates the particular data you wanted, like the name, age, or department, something like that. And rows indicates the actual data that's being inserted. So we are going to create the columns now. So I wanted say ID, first name, last name, department, and then location as well. Now I have given all the columns that I require, but I also have to specify what is the data type. ID is for int. I'll be explaining you about all the data types that are there. So for first name it will be varchar. So varchar is nothing but a variable character, and you guys can specify the size as well. Size indicates the name, and the first name would be within 25. The limit is 25. So last name that also comes under varchar. Department comes under varchar as well. Location also comes under varchar. There's too many varchar. Let me remove department and put as age. Let me remove location and put department. So these are the rows, and I've also specified the appropriate data types for that. And another thing, guys, whenever you guys are executing a SQL query, make sure you put this semicolon at the end so that the query would be executed. Now that we created our table, if you guys wanted to know the details about the table, you guys can type the command as describe table name. So I'm going to describe my table. So I want to know what all the rows, or what are the columns I've created. So this will show you the field which I created. I created ID, first name, last name, age, and department, and the data types of that. So this null default I will be explaining you later. So let's start inserting the elements. Insert into the table name. Value should be, so I have to give the appropriate column value of the column. So ID I'm going to give it as 0 first. First name as Bravo Jack. Age as 24. Department would be CSE. Yeah, this is one way of inserting the elements into the table. So this is a single statement. I'm inserting only one particular record. So now to view this record in the table, you guys can type as select asterisk from student. This would view all the contents of the table, because we have mentioned asterisk over here. This would mention all the contents that's in the table. So we can see the first record that's been inserted within our table, and these are column names that we created with our table. So now this is one particular way we can insert the elements. I'll show you the other way to insert it. So again, I'm just inserting the same values again. It's a duplicate values. Doesn't matter now, just for understanding purpose. I'm gonna insert another record. Just a random values I'm just giving it. So you guys could see I have inserted 2 more rows. So to view it, you could see all three records been inserted. So let's just play with only create record and insert record. So this first way of inserting, and this would be the second way of inserting, and I would also show you there's another way of inserting. If you guys wanted to insert only first name and last name, and you guys don't want to mention age, department, or ID, there's a way to insert that. So you guys have to mention what you're gonna insert it. I mean, if you wanted to only F name and last name, then you guys have to mention it over here. Now I have inserted only another record only with the first name and last name. I didn't explicitly mention any of the other factors called age or department or ID. Now let's see how it is stored in our table. You guys could see only the first name and last name is stored, but other characters for the other column, for the other values, it's stored as null. The reason why it is stored as null here, we could see in our description we have allowed null to be yes. This indicates if you don't give any value, then the default value would be stored as null. So if you guys don't want null to be stored, you guys could explicitly mention it while creating the table. So let us create another table again. This time I'm creating a table called student_1. So ID int, I don't want this to be null, so I'm mentioning it as not null. I don't want f name also to be not null. We have another concept called as default as well. So just in case you guys don't give any values, I mean I haven't given age and department, but I wanted to store default something else. If the user doesn't specify the record, specify the details here, if it doesn't specify it, I want default it has to be stored something else. So for that purpose we can use a default keyword. I'll give the department here default as CSE. So we have created the table. Now let's start inserting it. So I'm gonna insert the record here, the same similar fashion we tried previously. So here I'm inserting only the first name and the last name. I have not specified any ID or age or department. Now let's see how does it come up. I'm trying to view it. So you guys could see ID is not null now. It's stored with some other default value by itself. And department, we didn't mention the department as well, but some default value has been stored here because we mentioned the department default value CSE here. But the age is null. We didn't specify age as to be not null. We just left it like that. So it can store as null if we don't give any value. So this is all about about constraints like not null, default. We have few more constraints as well called as primary key, foreign key, composite key, and I'll be explaining it in a very detailed in later videos. So this is all about creating a table, different way to create a table. You guys could mention the constraints, or you guys need not to mention the constraints if you guys don't want to. And we also seen how to insert a record into it by giving a single statement and also by giving a multiple statements over here. If you guys want to give a particular values, you guys can mention that what columns you guys are indicating. This is all about insert element. So we have covered the operation C. It's nothing but inserting elements. C stands for creating records. You can create records only by inserting it. That is nothing but the way we saw here, insert. Now let's quickly look upon R. R is to read the data from the table. We've already seen one of the command, that is select star from student underscore one. If you guys wanted to know only particular columns which you guys wanted, you guys can explicitly mention it. Now I'm selecting, I just want only F name and last name from this table, called student. Then I'll be selecting those particular columns, and then it's from student table. I mean, this is the table I wanted. You guys could see only these particular columns, it's been listed out from, it's been retrieved from this particular table. Now along with this select command, we can also specify particular condition. That's where clause would come. I can mention particular condition, like I want only people who are from department from ITM. I don't want people from CSE or from the other departments. So but here I got the list from all the departments. I just want only the people from the ITM. So I just want only the Nick, only the guy whose name is Nick. So for that purpose, I wanted to mention it as where department equal to ITM. So if I mention this, the people who are from the ITM department from here, only they will be listed out. So I could see only Nick, he's been listed out here because he's from the ITM department. So like this, you guys can mention a where clause. Like you guys could mention a particular condition, like where ID equal to 1, where first name will be Nick, or all the people whose first name is Nick will be listed out. All the people whose age is 24 will be listed out. I mean, you guys can mention where age equal to 24 or where department equal to CSE or ITM. So this is the other way to retrieve the elements from the table. So select asterisk will retrieve all the data from the table. Select particular columns would retrieve those particular columns from the table. And if you guys wanted to mention a condition on top of the select statements, you guys can mention using a where clause. Where clause would give a particular condition. I have given here as department equal to ITM, so I got only people from the ITM. So this is all about read statement, that is R. So we have covered 2 operations from the CRUD. So the other 2, update and delete, will be covering it in the next video. Please stay tuned and watch my next video. I will be covering update and delete operations, followed by I will be covering other next concepts. That's all about the constraints. I've already covered not null. I'll be covering about the other constraints, and I'll also be covering aggregate functions. I'll be also covering these concepts as well in the next video. Thank you. Bye.